It's time to start Dishin Days with your hosts Tony Moore, Michael Mattis, Justin Lee Hareld, and Araceli Aviles. And now, let's dish. Why, hello, everybody. Happy Sunday. Welcome to Dishin Days, where we are serving up a full dish of this week's episodes of Peacock's exclusive #1 award-winning hit soap opera, Days of Our Lives. And if you haven't already, make sure you follow us on all social media platforms. We are Dishin Days Show on Facebook and Dishin Days on Instagram, Twitter, and I think Threads, if it's still a thing.
It's
I mean,
gone
it's
already.
still there. I
It's
think
still
the
there.
hype has died down.
It's lost
I
momentum.
think everybody went on it for 2 days, and then they're like, "All right, we're
And they were
good."
like, "All right, we're done threading. We're back to
Yeah.
needlepoint."
Well, I don't know. Well, but Twitter may not be Twitter by tomorrow, so we'll see.
It's gonna be X. It's called X.
Twitter has not been Twitter since, so there's that. Also, don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel. If you're watching live, thank you so much. Make sure you hit that subscribe button and that bell notification. That way you'll never miss a live and in living color broadcast brought to you by the fine folks here at Dishin Days. And if you're listening to us on our podcast station, which is available on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, and iHeartRadio, in case you ever get tired of listening to our soothing voices, you can see what we look like. So head on over to our YouTube channel or vice versa. Find us on Dishin Days. Thank you, Michael Mattis. You followed along perfectly. You guys also make sure you buy our merch. That's right. We have merchandise available for each and every one of you, such as these. Our Meliswin Possessed Dishin Days logo or serving up a full dish. That way, as you're wandering around whichever city that you belong to, you can let people know in your town that you are always serving up a full dish every Sunday afternoon, evening, or morning, depending on which time zone you're located in. And to show love to all of our soap opera fans, make sure you head over and show some love to our former co-host and my chocolate twin, James Lott Jr., who is giving you a little bit of General Hospital, Bold and the Beautiful, and Young and the Restless over at JLJ Media. So go find him on the YouTubes and like and subscribe him. And if you like some original audio dramas, he's got that for you too. So head on over and subscribe to JLJ Media on YouTube.
Thank you, everybody. See you next week.
Right.
Thank you, everyone. That's been our show. We'll see you next Sunday when we serve up another full dish of church announcements. What did we think of this week's episodes of Days?
I thought it was decent. I liked a lot of the interactions we got, but I probably was expecting the storylines to move a little faster, but I don't know. I thought it was okay or decent, but I liked some of the interactions we got between the characters. I thought was good.
Yeah, I give it a decent as well.
I wasn't upset by anything, and that was what made me happy, because it's like you have me as a viewer, like if you have me in my sweet spot, if you're not like dulling me to death, but you keep it but you keep me from getting so overly upset that I want to throw something at the TV.
I thought it was great.
I thought that's what I'm saying. I thought it was great. I loved the interactions. I was like, okay, this is where I'm happy.
I thought it was good. I thought, especially, one particular storyline has finally progressed, and I think we can just put the pieces of the puzzle together. Yeah, and I thought this week was pretty good. It had me going, So I feel like when I go through like an array of emotions, then it's a good week.
It's a good week.
Yeah. Well, let's talk about the week, shall we?
We shall.
It is now time to start
Dishin Days.
Well,
we really need to get on to record it.
Yeah, I mean, we tried, honey. We're doing great. All right, so let's kick things off with our first storyline, which is Quackity Quaker Oats. That's right, Quackity Quaker Oats, featuring the nurse of all nurses, the misery nurse, as we probably should call her.
Nursey nurse.
What did you guys think about this? The progression of this storyline.
They
I mean,
finally
you
gave
know, it's
answers. Which I
yeah, we
appreciate.
finally got a little bit of why
Yeah.
Quackity Quack is doing the quackity quackness.
Well, I mean, it's because she's crazy. They're trying. I feel like they're trying to put it as like, oh, she lost her husband.
Hmm.
And I'm like, okay, but there are many people who have lost their husbands. You
Yeah.
don't become obsessed with somebody else's.
Mm-hmm. But that added layer of of bringing back the possession storyline of having unintended consequences, and that to me was such a brilliant move, because nobody ever discussed that, about how like Marlena in her right mind has such a responsibility towards other people's welfare, but Marlena not in her right mind. Again, who the hell knows what the heck was going on in those sessions?
Yeah.
It's so interesting. Go ahead.
No.
I think it's so interesting though that like it's taken all this time for her to be like, oh yeah, she was one of my patients. Fall of 2020.
So
when I was possessed. It's like
it irked me in that moment where they had that full-on conversation, and then she's like, "Oh, I just remembered she was a patient of mine." I was like, "What the fuck? It took you that long to remember this bitch was a patient of yours?" But it was explained that, oh, she was possessed, so maybe that's why her memory was foggy. But then I'm like, well, wait, how did she remember it? Whatever. It was explained that it was because she was possessed. Then I got into a mind of like, okay, they're saying in Salem time, she became possessed again in the fall of 2021. Then I was like, wait, when was the time jump? And is that supposed to be correct? Or did we determine that the time jump now just didn't happen?
I think we're supposed to forget the years and just assume the time jump happened and don't worry about what year it is, because I think it gets confusing. They can't keep up with it. It's technically it would be 2024, and it's too hard to keep.
Then I was like, wait, if it was fall in viewer time, fall 2021 in viewer time, then it should have been fall 2022 in Salem time.
Listen, I think at this point, let's just all agree as fans. The time jump was a great moment in time. However, back to reality we are.
But it was such a big moment. You can't do, I guess, what irks me, and I'm not going to go on a long thing about this. It just irks me that they did it and then just expect us to forget about it. You know what I mean?
True,
but I understand why. I understand they did it to have I'm like, okay, they just did it to have a moment then, but then didn't think that they needed
something in soaps that's never been done before.
Yeah, they made such a big deal about it. It was such a moment, and I'm like, okay, but now you're just kind of being like, okay, it was a moment. Now we're moving ahead, and we're supposed to act like the time jump didn't happen.
Yes,
I don't think we're supposed. I just think logistically, it's hard to keep that up for the remaining duration of the show keep it.
For me, there needs to be like, they just need to remember when they're using time in this when they're doing their scripting.
Is that how they do their scripting?
Yeah, when they're bing, when they're doing the scripts.
Wow,
Jessica Fletcher, thank you.
They need to think. It's not that hard. They just need to think, oh, okay, fall of 2021. Well, wait, we did a time jump a few years ago and made a big fucking deal about it, so we need to keep this up. So make it fall of 2022 instead. It doesn't seem that difficult to me. But I'm not a writer.
You know what? So to counter your point, Michael, for us, the possession happened fall 2021, right? Because if they said, it's like if they said the actual year that they're allegedly supposed to be in, we would have been like, wait, and then we would have been spending a lot of time calculating when we just don't need to. So I think
I would have been like, oh, but that happened. Oh, wait, time jump. Never mind, move on.
We'll see, but
We're doing it now. We just spent 5 minutes talking about it.
It's like, do you want people to do that or just go fall 2021? Okay, yeah, that's what happened, and keep it going. You know what I mean? Like,
not all of us are going to do that. Some of us are going to call out that there was a time jump and it's supposed to be a year later than you're saying it is.
Yes, Michael Mattis, yes, and that's exactly what you did. And then the rest of us are like, it happened fall 2021. Okay.
Anyway, okay. So I said what I was going to say about it, and now we can move on.
I said what I said.
Not you giving us the I said what I said.
I still don't care about that. I'm just still fixated on Michael's bing and just really fairly certain that almost all of our audience is over
typing.
Yes, but I'm just thinking, like, there's a whole generation, like 2 generations now, that has no idea what you're talking about.
No,
and none of them are watching this show.
Yeah, I know. No. That's why I laughed.
We're old. Oh man, I had a thought, and now I done forgot it.
Listen, I think it'd be interesting to see, not if we get like a flashback, but when we get Whitley's perspective of what was said to her to put her on this path, because that's where I think, I think the devil said something to her, like maybe, go out and get a new husband, or find someone else, or maybe the devil laid a guilt trip on her, because I think they sort of hinted at that when they were looking through the case or the notes or whatever, that she sort of blames herself for bringing in the space heater and that sort of a thing. So who knows if the devil played on that, and again that planted the evidence for her to kind of go off a little bit.
I think that's what I was thinking. Like, at what point did thank you, Mom. At what point did Marlena, once she like got back into the office and wasn't possessed and got her job back and everything like that, did she go, let me just take a look at what happened while I was possessed? You know what I mean? Like, because like Araceli, I find it very interesting that they did tie in that storyline with this moment.
Yeah,
I thought it was very good on the writers to kind of have a moment of like, oh hey, this happened, but I was possessed, which is why I don't remember her as my patient. But also, do you want to have your therapist at the place that you work at?
Yeah.
I mean, it depends on the person.
No, I'm gonna go somewhere else, because I'm not gonna be seeing you, and I'm out on the job and running into you, and it's like,
because they're also colleagues too. I mean, that makes it a little weird. Yeah.
I mean, but everybody confines in Marlena, so at this point, who the hell?
I mean, there's only one therapist in town.
I know, right?
Marlena, okay, so I'm just very upset at the fact that Lani, with all her years of training, being a cop, being married to an FBI agent, the daughter of a prior police commissioner and current mayor, that you let this cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs woman overpower you, and tie you up, and serve your oatmeal.
Well, no, she rejected the oatmeal.
Thank you, Araceli. But still, it's like I was so mad, because I was just like, how is this?
Turn your back on crazy.
Yeah.
This is another thing.
You back up.
Yeah, you back up. Or at one point, I was hoping that she would be like, you mess with the wrong one. You know what I mean? And just like, karate chopped her or something, and then got Abe out. Like, she wanted to stand toe to toe. And I'm like, at what point are you just going to slap her? Or are you going to punch her? Because I would have did a quick, like, oh, no, ma'am. And just like, got her. I'm like, y'all doing too much talking.
Listen, at least we didn't get a Lani stand-in like Miranda and EJ when she turned. Can you imagine if she turned and then
gosh, yeah, no.
All you saw was this. Oh wait, where'd I go? Just a shoulder.
No, that's about right.
And what is she? What? First of all, where is she getting this drug from? Well, I mean, I know she's getting them for the hospital.
Yeah.
But how much supply does she have? Like it's almost like she went to Target and got the 100 count of Tylenol. It's like what? It's like, man, what are you doing?
She got a freezer in the back.
She got something, and she just keep using
She
it.
keeps the Hungry Man dinners for Abe.
Oh my god! And y'all, I'm sorry.
Same dirty needle.
Oh God!
Why is it that
Oh, God.
John and Steve are like 15 steps behind
No.
when they were?
Yeah.
When now, granted, I thought this before they got to LA. I was like, okay, Lani done met with Jerry and pew, she at the house, right? Patch and John are just like, there's something about death that just, I don't know, partner, it just doesn't sit right with me.
Paulina got there faster.
Got where?
Got to the there's something not right with Abe's death.
But-
she somehow got there faster.
Yes. But however, I'm like, once they got to LA, I was like, okay, this is great that y'all are a little behind because now Jerry can give you the full tea and then y'all can go to the house so that way you can help Lani. But then I also was like, so at what point yesterday when Lani didn't show up to the house that somebody wasn't going to be like, her ankle monitor shows that she's not with you. You're not on the way. And she's actually here. Like, the U.S. Marshal had to come all the way to the Salem PD and go, found her.
It's strange. Yeah. And did you notice when he's like, I got a tracking on her, and then they left, and then they went to the dock, and I was like, wait, how'd you get a tracking on her from the dock when she wasn't even there? Like, it just, that was kind of.
So I think we're supposed to assume that Whitley dragged her ass to the docks, and then came back to the apartment.
Yeah.
No, but I'm saying when he was saying that they cut to the apartment and she's still in the apartment, that was before, like he got the pin on her before Whitley moved her, which didn't make sense.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
It could have been moving. They didn't. She could have been in the middle of being moved or what have you.
Well, the scene after that was her in the apartment. That's what I'm saying. No, Lani was in the apartment. That's what I'm saying. Like, I felt like they either made the scene out of order. I'm sure. Because he said, I got a pin on her, and then it went to Lani and Whitley in the apartment before Whitley moved her. That's why I thought, the storyline's over. They're going to find her.
I would have to go rewatch that again because I thought they got a pin on her. Then it cut to Whitley and Abe in the apartment, and Whitley saying like, oh, we need to basically saying like, we're leaving. And then it cut to them on the docks.
You sure? Because I remember noting that.
I could be wrong.
Make any sense? I could be wrong, but I was watching it like, wait, that doesn't make any sense.
Regardless, the marshal would have checked her tracking the night before when she didn't show up. And why is Rafe? If Rafe was fired, why is he even
lurking around?
He should have been disqualified from being the person. Yeah. His baby
is working. Okay, I can confirm now because I actually just rewatched it. So what had happened was she stuck her one more time. Then it cut to everybody else. Then it did come back to just Abe and Whitley, and then they got the ping, and then she was like on the dock.
Okay.
Yeah. It's okay, Justin. Sometimes we look down and then we look up and like all this stuff is happening. You're like, wait, what happened? But I honestly, like, as weird as this storyline is, I've actually been very intrigued by it.
Oh yeah.
I think I've been intrigued by watching her get flustered because again, she had, I don't think she had like an actual plan. No. And I think she thought like, oh, I can just take them and like, it'll be fine. And then like all this stuff keeps coming up. And so she keeps having to like pivot which, I think that's weirdly to say this, but like interesting to watch. It's also been hard to watch, like Abe just kind of being like, I don't know what's going on there. Like this slow decline and just like it's been like Dylan said, like the storyline definitely is disturbing, but it's had me like that the whole time.
Totally.
So well,
I don't know. I liked it.
We're right here.
I'm just happy that we finally have we've got a backstory, which is all I really wanted from this. That's all I wanted. Is like, I know she's crazy, but there's always an explanation to the crazy, and I'm like getting
it's like what triggered the crazy?
Yeah.
It didn't just pop out crazy. Something had to trigger it.
Yeah, I thought this valid. This is well planned. This took a direction I didn't expect it to take, and I appreciated that.
Well, this whole thing took a direction that I wasn't expecting, and it started with her wheeling him out of the room and standing at the elevator.
That's true. Yeah.
I did think it was telling when she was sort of getting flustered. I feel like this is the first time we've seen that, where when she was talking to Lani, she actually believed she was Paulina. Because in the past, whenever they've showed her pretending to be Paulina and knowing that she's pretending. But it was like weird when she was talking with Lani, she was actually saying like, "I'm your mother. What are you talking about?" Like she wasn't actually pretending, which was I think that's the first time we've seen that.
She was putting on the act because Abe was awake. He wasn't. He was awake.
No, Justin's right. She's starting to deteriorate.
So it's like she was having like a break there or something. I thought.
Yeah, where she can't tell reality from her
that's
fantasy.
What I was getting from it. Yeah.
No, I think she's just trying to stay very convincing that she is Paulina, and you have another force saying you're not Paulina, you're not my mother. No, Dad, listen to me. And she still kind of have to go, oh, Abraham, your daughter is just so, she's so, so she's having to keep up, some sort of facade that she is. But I mean, you guys could also be right too, that like, she's just, believing her own little world.
Yeah. And she kept saying like, I want to protect him. So I feel like after we got the info on the husband that she sort of didn't protect him or couldn't protect him, so she's like transferring all that to Abe.
That made sense.
Well, with all of that, kudos to Kim Coles.
Yeah,
because she is really serving the Cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs nurse, and I think this is one of those things like we'll never forget. And if she ever like comes back into Salem, it's definitely going to be like, ooh, not the Fifth Commandment.
Oh, you were raised as God-fearing. The language. The language.
You remember the Fifth Commandment. Honor thy mother and thy father. You're not my mother or... Well, I mean, that is her father.
Said to no toddler ever.
Yeah.
But it'll be interesting to see how this story continues to progress. And it was interesting to watch everyone else try to put the pieces of the puzzle together.
John Black needs to not be so reactive. Like the way he threatens violence on people when they don't tell him what he wants to hear. He did it with someone. Who did he do it with? Was it Kristen? It was somewhat recently where he like threatened like punched her, like threatened to slap her or hit her or
Oh, that was when he had the head injury. Was it?
Years ago.
Was that when he had the head injury? I thought
yes.
That was a scene.
Yeah,
I mean, I remember there was that part, but then I remember him
something recent. You're saying?
I think he threatened Kristen, but anyway, like it just brought me back to like he was like, "I'm gonna throw this jerk under."
Oh yes, no, what it was Kristen, but it wasn't the head. It was the head injury, yes, but it was also I know which one you're talking about. It was when she was living in their house with them, and the secret came out about the orchid. Yeah, he did say something like, "I want to hit you," or I can strangle you," or something like that. Yeah,
something just like the threat of violence. I'm like, this guy's supposed to be our hero. Like heroes don't do that.
Did you ever know that you're?
But it's Kristen is like the exception to all cases.
Even Kristen, like, I'm sorry. No,
There's an exception to all
it's bad opposite.
Optics.
Even with Kristen, it's bad optics to have a character, well, to have a man threaten violence against a woman like that, but especially like John Black. John Black is not a woman beater. And he's not like, he's just like I don't know. It just doesn't seem very in character to me.
Mm.
Yeah, well, like his reaction to Kristen, I get that's the exception, but yeah, towards Jerry is like, you don't know this kid like that.
Or the fact that they just believed Whitley when she was like, "Oh, Jerry Prentice was there." I'm like, how do you forget that the therapist who, like, that to me was like, you guys didn't click for you that she might be lying at that point, like.
And that she's quitting her job and just like just how nervous she's been this whole time. First of all, when they were like, she's been working here for 15 years, I'd be like, I ain't seen her. I ain't seen her. And you know what?
She's on the other floor. She was on the floor we always see.
you know what's interesting though is that I thought again, like, how cool would it have been if there just so happened to be like a background nurse that like, and I mean, not taking work from Kim Coles, but like there was a background nurse that we kept seeing and she did kind of favor Jackie Harry, and they were like, okay, we're going to do this storyline, and we're going to now like move you in, and now she becomes like an actualized character and all, because there's actually one nurse that I see in the background all the time, and I only remember her because when I was doing background work, she had just kind of started, and now she's like one of the regulars. And I've always just been like, how interesting it would be to like consistently see someone, and then all of a sudden, like they're a part of a storyline, which makes sense because we're used to seeing them, and then they're not, and then they just kind of either go to jail or just go back to work. Y'all know that's just how my mind works.
Tony Moore, how dare you?
What?
I was right. I was like, something ain't right here. I was like, I knew I remember that scene correctly.
What you mean?
Oh, he went back and rewatched it.
I just watched it. It's the way I said it. He got the pin, and then the next shot is Nurse Whitley sticking her. I'm like, something isn't adding up here. I'm like, something isn't right here.
But when they came back, she wasn't there. She wasn't at the house. So you are to believe. What are you talking about? Walk me through this again, because I looked at the same thing you did. Don't have me share my screen.
No, we can share it.
Oh,
the Marshal got the pin, and then Jada and Ray followed him out of the police station. The next scene was Whitley, Abe, and Lani in the apartment, and she stuck her for the last time. So, which means if he got a pin, the pin would have been at the apartment. Then after that, we didn't see them until again to the docks. That's what I'm saying. It was a little clunky. I know what they were intending to do. I'm saying the scene, the way it played out on screen was a little...
They should have had a commercial break between getting the pin and showing them in the apartment next.
Well, no, because
that would have fixed it.
No, they should have showed her sticking her first and then him getting the pin.
Or that.
You know what I'm saying? If you got the pin would be
you're right.
Apartment. Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
You're right.
Yeah.
Literally the only
I'm not going back and watching it, but
I was like, something isn't at, because I knew I watched that when I was watching it. I was like, this makes no sense. And I remember like thinking this is out of, because I remember thinking, oh, they may have aired this scene out of order or something, because the order doesn't flow.
The only thing I care about in this entire conversation is that it's ping, P-I-N-G, not pin.
Okay, so they got the ping. They leave. Oh, Yep, there she is, looking terrified.
Yeah.
Okay, Justin. I had to see
whatever. I was just like,
I had to see it for myself.
I was like, am I going crazy? Because I'm pretty sure I remember that. Whatever.
My bad days that we were able to point that out to whoever had edited that.
That was the overall point of like, something doesn't make sense here, but whatever. Whatever.
Audience, does anybody else care about this? Care about this order? Raise your hand, because I don't.
Well, That's fine, Araceli. You can sit there and not care, but it is pertinent because it makes you wonder. Well, why didn't they find her at the house?
Yeah,
And why would they run into the
I already
dock?
explained that because they could have started at the house and they could have been moving.
That's not a pet. You don't get.
They can track the location in real time, is what I'm saying.
But
they
then
they would have went to the house.
You can do that with your friends on
the moving
your
location.
iPhone.
But
we don't know that yet because we haven't seen the results as of Friday's episode.
But what Justin is saying is when they got the ping, P-I-N-G, that it would have showed Lani at the apartment.
Nurse Whitley's, and they would have recognized that's Nurse Whitley's apartment because of the address.
Yes. Yeah. And if they were on the
I understand
move,
what Araceli's saying. They could have
because
on a map.
The FBI
no, I understand what you're saying.
Who got the ping because he had the location.
No one's listening to me.
Wait, what?
You don't think he shared that information with Rafe and Jada as they all were in the same car?
No, he could have just said, "Follow me." That's it. He's not under, especially if he was pissed. He wasn't under any obligation to say anything to them other than "Follow me."
Who?
The U.S. Marshal who got the location.
Now somebody's trying to say the ping might have gotten manipulated by Whitley. Now hold on, like let's not try to act no. That's
She's a tech
not
genius now too. She's a tech genius. She's manipulating.
If Whitley has any kind, have we seen what kind of phone Whitley has?
She doesn't. It got turned off because she couldn't pay the bill.
That woman is still using tapes.
Oh my god!
You really think she has the?
She has what's her name sidekick from the music video and tries to text on Excel.
Oh my god!
Just so we can part ways with this, Justin, I understand what you're saying. There's a little kerfluffle with that.
There was a continuity error.
Yeah, that's what I'm
in the editing.
Araceli, I understand what you're saying because it could have been on the move. However, if you merge the two together, if the first ping should have showed her at the apartment.
Yeah.
And if it moved, then they would have been able to see that it moved. Because when they ran onto the dock, I was confused. I was like, where y'all at? Are y'all going to pay y'all respects again?
Exactly. That's why it's like, wait, why are they at the dock? Yeah.
That's all. Moving on.
Please.
You know me loving to beat a dead horse. Are we done with this?
Please.
I think Michael Mattis hates that I always circle back to something.
Circle what?
Circle back.
Circle back.
A little circle back. Well, we'll see how this storyline progresses. I think at this point we're all just kind of like, Lord, somebody please go get Abe.
I know. Someone find Abe. Please let that be the next part. I think in the promo though. We'll see in the promo.
Yeah,
we ain't got to that part yet. You about to do a reveal.
But if they found Lani,
I was not about to do a spoiler.
But if they found Lani and John and Steve are finally actually getting information, then we shouldn't be that far behind.
Yeah. Child, by the time Patch and John make it back to Salem, Lonnie's going to be back in Maryland. Willie's going to be in jail, and Abe's going to be at the house.
Get on the right. Sorry.
I died laughing when they were like, "Oh, Jada didn't pick up," and I was like, "Call everyone! Like, call Kayla, call."
You have wives.
Call the police. Call your gardener, your housekeeper, to go over there. Well, call everyone. Like,
I thought when they made that call, and then they cut to Kate and Paulina. My first thought was,
"That's what I thought." Yeah,
someone's going to get the call, and then they didn't get the call. Then they cut the Marlena and Kayla, and I was like, "Okay, so one of them's going to get," and then none of them got the call. I'm like, "Well, baby, who you calling? Who are you calling?" I don't know.
Let's hope they get on the right flight home.
What a mess. Well, speaking of messes, let's go on to the next mess, honey. Oh, we are titled, well, Michael Mattis has titled this. When we say this is a mess, Kristen and Brady say, hold our beers.
Little did we know our conversation from last week would get explored.
Wait, what?
Remember we were going back and forth about Brady and Kristen and raising Rachel and how horrible.
What and who was worse?
The mess. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
They're both terrible. I think that's the consensus. They're both terrible. However, it varies about who's terrible. Like, it varies from the situation.
Yeah.
Like last week, Kristen keeping Rachel's location a secret was her being raggedy. This week,
Not
Brady
raggedy.
was raggedy.
Not raggedy.
pulling the gun and taking after his dad, threatening violence against Kristen.
But I think, you know what? When I watched it, I was just like, oh Lord, Brady, like you can't even do this right. Like
No.
this ain't even in your spirit to do this. But then I was also like, this is somebody who's fed up, who actually I think wants Kristen to be better and to be a mother. But at this time, it's like you're still doing the same things over and over again. You literally said, if things change with the custody, then Rachel may magically appear. It's like, that's our daughter. Like, this isn't like a game for you to play. The second Rachel came like popping out of the tunnel, it should have been like, oh my God, Rachel, like, what are you doing here? Oh my God, I'm gonna call your dad. And then you guys have a discussion of like Brady, like a parent discussion of Brady, like this consistently happens. Under your watch, she has now found an Uber and made her way to Statesville. Now she has left camp. Now I'm concerned as her mother. I understand that you have custody, but now this is ridiculous because Rachel is telling you she also wants me in her life. So how are we going to fix this? That's the leverage that Kristen could have had, but she went back to Kristen ways and was like, I'm going to hold our daughter so that, and to her credit, I was like, you know what? Great, Brady. You gave into it. You're going to sign the custody papers. But as soon as he ripped it up, I was like,
yeah, exactly.
Like, here we go on the mess on top of the mess on top of the mess on top of the mess.
Yeah.
And he takes it a step forward and pulls a gun. A
and
loaded
then says,
gun.
I should kill you. And then here comes, Daddy, no. I'm like, oh, now here she comes with her drama.
That was the weird part, because it was like, we saw that he recognized that she has Rachel hidden somewhere, obviously, and most likely she's in the house somewhere. So why would you pull the gun on her in the house? You know what I mean? It was like inevitable that Rachel would show up or hear you, or it was just a dumb move all around. Like, what did he think was going to happen? She was going to turn her over and they were going to walk out the door. Like, I don't know. This is where like Brady can get as crazy as she does, even if he's doing it for the right reasons. Like, that's a Kristen move.
It is.
Yeah.
I like how people in the chat room are saying that Rachel should be given to John and Marlena to raise. Minutes after, they were saying how dumb Black Patch is. And I'm like, okay, wait.
Oh, no.
You're talking about how dumb he is for not being able to, do his job. But let's give him responsibility of how old is she? 6-7-year-old? While Marlena's still like, John and Marlena they don't need that mess.
They've had enough
let them
issues. Yeah, they're out of that era. They don't need to drag
no,
them.
but I'm telling you, like, there's just oh my God, I don't even have the words anymore to describe how inept and how irresponsible Brady and Kristen are as parents. I've lost all words. I mean, they're a social worker's nightmare. Rich, entitled, spoiled brats who constantly play the blame game instead of focusing on the child's needs. These two are literally the definition of a social worker's worst nightmare.
Well, I think they both think as parents. I think Brady thinks it's best until Kristen gets her stuff together. It's best that she's not in Rachel's life. While Kristen, remember, like she's had issues like having kids and everything like that. She finally has one. And it's like, you still haven't stepped up to be a mom because you're still playing games.
Yeah.
So, but in her eyes, she's like, but that's my kid. And during that whole speech, Brady said something that I thought was very good to say and drive home, is that she's not a possession. It's not about you winning. It's like, you want to win. Yeah. And I'm like, you're right. And it's like, okay, well, somebody's got to like be an adult about this situation.
But to some point, that's Brady's motive too. Like, I do think he believes that Kristen is unstable and probably not fit to raise Rachel by herself. However, there's another layer of it, I feel like, that Brady wants to win too, and is using Rachel as a possession the same way that Kristen is.
I don't get that from Brady as much as Kristen does.
I'll tell you the difference. Kristen treats Rachel like a possession. Brady doesn't treat Rachel like a person. There are people who think that children should be treated as children. Like you should talk to them a certain way, treat them a certain way because they are young, without recognizing that they're young. They are young human beings. They have their own feelings, their own motivations. The difference between them and as adults is they haven't had the education yet to understand adult things. It's your job to teach them this is good and this is bad. This is a bad person. This is a good person. You're not supposed to just shut down the conversation, which Brady has been doing again and again and again and again. Every time the subject of Kristen comes up, he shuts down the conversation. Every time the subject of every time when they're going back to that whole back and forth between Brady and Chloe, he would just shut down Rachel's feelings, tell her she was being rude, tell her she was being inappropriate. She was, but then it was his job as the parent to follow up on that, not just constantly shut her down without explanation.
Well, because I feel like this. See this circle right here? This circle right here? This is grown folks' business, right? You see this right here? This circle? This is a child's place, right? You see where Rachel is? Rachel's in grown folks' business. She needs to be over here in a child's place. And stop being over here in grown folks' business.
Yeah, but there's a way to push that out without shutting them down. You tell them, I'll tell you when you're older. I'll tell you,
But that's not what's happening. Because remember like a week or two ago, Kristen, and I said this on the show, was sitting there talking to Rachel about all this stuff as if like that's your good Judy. Like, no, like she's a kid. Whereas when Brady deals with her, it's like Rachel, like he even said it to Kristen, I have made it a point to not tell her all the things about her mother. But now this is where I disagree, where he's like, all bets are off. I'm like, no, you still don't want to do that. But Brady, if it's recognizing her feelings and talking to her and all this kind of stuff, it's like, what if Brady was like, well, the reason why you're not with your mother is because, and just went through everything. It's like, no, he doesn't want to paint that picture for Rachel. However, it's hard to go against a woman who's always like, oh, look what your daddy is doing. I think he's replacing me with Chloe. And it's like, girl, you can't be talking to that girl like that.
Which is why but it's like Brady's solution is just to shut down the conversation. It's just to tell her that she's a child, that it's not her business, blah, blah, blah. Yes, but she's not listening.
She's not. Well, because I feel like she
do something different. Anything different. So
she's been heavily influenced by Kristen.
Yes. So then when you don't succeed, you stop, as Tony sometimes does, beating a dead horse. You can't do that with children because they will not relent. As we are seeing with Rachel. What happened? She went as far as to have daddy arrested.
Well, listen, I mean, last week it was cute, like, her collecting the tea and stuff. But this week it was like when Jada showed up, I was like, uh-oh, not Kristen calling the police. And then Rachel coming, I did. I wanted to be like, first of all, what you doing calling the police? The Salem PD at that. And then being like, you tried to kill mommy. The gun is right there. I'm like, you are.
Yeah.
Well,
if you don't go to your room and play ponies.
See, my usual reaction whenever I see parents fighting or something is always like, well, this is who you chose. And then I remembered, and someone else brought this up online, I forget where, that Brady, I think, has some really deep-seated resentment because he didn't choose to have a child with Kristen.
Nope.
That was a trick. Remember, that was Nicole who he
Yep.
thought. Remember, and that there's all this resentment that he has.
Yep.
He now has to share a child with her, even though he was in love with her and broke up and then got back together with her at one point. But he actually did not make a conscious choice to have a child with her.
Yep.
Now he's sort of, I think there's a lot of resentment there that he's stuck raising this child who, you know, he has to do it with Kristen and she's still up to her old tricks again. And yeah.
Look, neither one of these two are putting their best foot forward. They're both just making everything worse. So this is what you need to do. Get that child to a therapist. For the love of God, get this child in therapy.
Not Marlena. Marlena has too much.
Not Marlena. Not Marlena. A qualified child therapist who actually knows how to talk to children, because clearly none of y'all know how to do that. About grown-up things in a proper way. Then either one of two things: send the kid off to boarding school or send her to California to live with Teresa.
Okay, that's the therapy session I want to see. Mardevil and Rachel.
Oh my God! No! Oh.
How do we know it hasn't happened already? Shit, she probably got this from the devil.
Oh my! Don't even say that. Oh gosh!
But no,
the devil could still be in Salem.
But I'm pretty sure some Southern woman is looking at Rachel and being like, you know what? If that was my grandbaby, I would have told her to go outside and get a switch off a tree, and I would have spanked her little self, and she would have acted just right.
What exactly is a switch? Like a twig?
It's like a little branch.
Yeah.
Ow.
But like thin, like a baby branch.
Mm-hmm.
And you
please! In my family, you don't make it out the room.
Well, I'm sure in
and
your
like,
family,
and yeah, like with this, yeah, like you're talking about the switch, and like if you're in a Latino family, you don't make it out of the room to go get nothing.
You done got hit with a flip flop. Oh wait, no, what do you call it?
Chancla.
The chancla. You done got hit with the chancla. I mean, it's same in black families too. Let me tell you, you get somebody angry enough and frustrated enough, you ain't gonna make it out of the room either. Like whatever, remote control. Nowadays, people call that abuse. It wasn't called that when we were growing up. It was just called discipline.
It was called parenting, discipline.
Yeah, and you knew not to do it again. How do we, Michael Mattis? You haven't said too much. How do you feel about this Brady, Kristen, Rachel situation?
I'm glad that there's a different element.
Oh, that's great. So I think we can move on to. I'm just kidding.
Tony.
I'm kidding, Michael. Go ahead.
Cut me a switch. No.
You're gonna spank me, Michael?
That's a whole
maybe that wouldn't be a punishment. Maybe discipline is not a punishment for you.
God's sakes.
Okay, what do you think, Michael Mattis?
Excuse me. Sparkling waters, sharp. No, I'm glad that there's an element in this story that rather than Kristen, it's just Kristen and Brady going back and forth and back and forth. Obviously, they're still doing that, but to insert Rachel and kind of Racheling trying to empower this little kid, basically trying to empower herself and say like, I'm not putting up with this shit. I don't want to be at camp, so I'm not going to be at camp. I want to be with my mom, so I'm going to be with my mom. You threaten my mom, I'm going to call your ass on the cops and tell them where the gun is.
Yeah.
Like it's an interesting pivot to have Rachel, this kid, so just kind of just just in the mix and kind of trying to take charge. And the little girl that plays Rachel is very good and very entertaining to watch. And Eric did a good job of like the oh shit look on his face when she came out and was like, I called the cops. There's the gun. And it was just like,
was it that look, or was it like a? I'm gonna whoop your
right.
No, for me, the way I took it, it was, I just shit my pants because my kid's gonna throw me in jail.
Yeah,
my 7-year-old or my not even 7-year-old is.
Well, here's the thing. The other thing is that. You raise the kid to be delicate, then they're going to overpower you. You like Brady. I don't think I've ever seen an occasion where Brady and Kristen yelled at at Rachel, and that's a problem.
Yeah.
That's a problem. You have to, I'm sorry, you have to, from the time that they're toddlers, the minute they start with that no, you got to be on them like, oh, no, like you don't have to be violent, you don't have to be abusive, but you do have to set clear boundaries, which is what like Tony was saying. It's like Rachel doesn't know boundaries because clearly she was never taught them.
You got to discipline your child.
Yes.
Period. And Brady and Kristen need to get it together. Period.
Mm-hmm.
Like Brady, you can think everything you want about Kristen. She's still her mother, and Rachel wants her mother in her life, whether you think that's good or not. So that it takes you two to have a conversation and make things better for Rachel. Side note, I love the fact that we talk about this as if like they don't do this for the drama of it all. Like every now and then when I start talking about them, it's like I have to say in my brain, they're not real characters. This is not how it would normally be handled. However, why do I feel so strongly about what it is that I'm saying? That is going on in my head.
Oh no, I'll tell you why. No, I'll tell you why, Tony, because unfortunately there is now a whole generation who are being raised like that, who are being raised to be spoiled, and not even with money, just they're not being given boundaries. They're not being given discipline, and you can see it. Those are the kids that'll come into the restaurant and they'll be acting up all full, and you're over your shoulder like, where the hell are your parents?
It's like, who raised you? Well,
yeah.
The thing about kids nowadays is that they're not afraid of authority. Like at 40 years old, I'm still a little nervous with Mama Moore. Like
as you should be.
Like when we're having conversations, I still censor myself. I still like don't if I'm gonna say a cuss word because I feel like it's necessary, I will always say, excuse my, what I'm about to say, and then I'll finally say it. And I think in her mind, she's like, I mean, you're an adult, but also I'm still like, but you my mama. Like I can't be on here being like, and that bitch. Like my mom be like, excuse me, like.
She'd be like Whitley, language.
We did not raise you like that. But that's the thing, is like it's like kids are just not afraid of authority. And in this instance with Rachel, it's like, number one, this is now the second time she has just decided, oh, okay, well, I don't want to be here. And she just leaves. And
which
it's
is
like
a real problem.
That's
what she's leaving for or to or going to. Yeah.
Yes, that's first of all, the whole Statesville thing, taking an Uber to Statesville, like, I'm sorry. Like, at that moment, there should have been something done where it's like, oh, no, you're not going to do that again. Because let me tell you something. The second her little happy self had showed up from that camp, I don't care if you didn't like camp or not. I don't want to be here.
Yeah.
Come get me. Mm-hmm. It's that conversation. It's not like, I'm just gonna go. My mom says, you are correct, son. Well, yeah, I am correct. I'm just happy that she's in the chat and not texting. That is a major accomplishment.
There are levels. Again, it doesn't have to be like back in the day. You don't gotta be violent, but there's has to be boundaries. There just has to be. I mean, as an aunt, I don't have the authority to yell at these kids, but the fact that I rarely do, that when I do, they stand up. Mm-hmm. It's because I rarely do it, so they know when I do it, I mean business.
Let me tell you, my mom can give me a look. I know exactly what that look means. It's very much like, I mean, I still remember. I will never forget this. I was a kid. We were at some concert or something, and I was just in the aisles cutting up. And my mom was like, and I remember when I got home, I got a whooping. Like she didn't act up in front of everybody else, but that look was like, I knew better. These kids, I want to see that scene where Rachel is like, nah, 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 and Brady or Kristen just go. Now, in true Rachel form, she's gonna go.
Exactly.
To which then Brady and Kristen are going to go, and then she's going to go, and then they're going to go, and then all will end.
Dylan, the faces of parenting. Get on it.
Well, I don't know. I mean, I think it's going to be interesting to see, because obviously they are integrating Rachel into some major storylines, how that's going to play out. And we've actually already see it kind of start playing out as we get into our next storyline with, is this Uncle Dimitri?
Yep. Well,
Dimitri does everybody.
Yes. This is cousin Dimitri.
Yeah.
Cousin Dimitri. Well, first of all, can we talk about how Kristen, just a scene before, had all that to do
I know,
with Brady and all that kind of stuff, and then cut to she's sitting
right. Yeah.
So Dimitri,
I lived.
who were you sneaking out of the mansion?
Yeah.
I mean, if anyone can compartmentalize it, is Kristen.
Yes. Yeah.
I would have. Let me tell you something. I would have had to go lay down.
Yeah.
I would not have been in the living room. I would have been in my room, sprawled out against my bed, like listening to some music, maybe in the kitchen, eating. I wouldn't have had time to be in somebody else's business.
I think it's funny because I think when we saw Rachel the previous week, we thought it was going to maybe be some later big reveal. And then to find out it happened sort of off screen, she like said
happened off screen with Kristen, and Rachel just thought they were having a sleepover.
Exactly.
When Kristen said that,
they were.
Well, they were, yeah.
Well,
Grown-up sleepover.
Just as Kristen said, my daughter's gave me some interesting information and said that you and Leo were having a sleepover, which we all know what that really means. You was in there. Anywho, do we like Dimitri and Gwen or Dimitri and Leo?
Well, Dimitri and Leo.
Yeah, well, I don't think that it's really a matter of like liking couples at this point. I think it's just the fact that, you know, the one person is doing is getting married to one friend and then having sex with the other friend, and yeah, I just find that interesting. I care not for either couple. I can't say I'm on one couple side versus the other, but I'm curious to see how this is gonna. I'm curious to see how it's gonna play out. Yeah, and if there's a reason beyond just Gwen being, been put through the ringer in the love department the past year, as to why she was so susceptible to this. Like, if she knows something's going on and she's just playing along, or if she's setting someone up for something, or it could be that she's just completely going with it and in the dark about it all. Yeah. But now, Kristen's in the mix and wanting to keep Dimitri close because she had all of it. Like, she knows about the money, doesn't she? Yeah. She knows his whole story. He's engaged to Gwen because he needs to be married to get the fortune, but he's banging Leo on the side and like everything. Yeah. So now Kristen, I'm sure, thinks that, she's probably, since in Kristen's mind, since she knows about it, she's entitled to some of the reap the benefits of the inheritance. Yeah. And so she would manage to convince Stefan and EJ, who wanted to kick his ass out, convince them kind of to let him stay at the mansion.
I did like that moment though, because I'm just like, you guys are all Damaras. Like, at some point you have to stick together instead of two against the other two, one against three, like I like that moment of Kristen just being like, let's not, like, calm down, boys.
And also, Dimitri isn't a threat to them. He has no plans to go after any of them. So, like,
they're just suspicious of him. He's carrying the burden of
Megan. Yeah,
Megan. Yeah. I want to say Miranda, not the character's name.
I just there's a part of me that hopes this, because I really want Gwen to go back to how she used to be. just this very strong character, right? There's a part of me that hopes that her new journalistic intuition, where she does flip the script, and she's like, "I know you've been screwing him. Yeah, you. I just needed a little bit of fun. Great, but I'm playing along because I know that he's about to get this money."
Yeah.
And I'm about to get it too. So we can all have a Cheerio good time.
Yeah.
I want that. I hope. I don't want her to be devastated. I don't want her to be sad, because I think the reason why Gwen went along with it is because of all the hurt that she felt from the relationship with Xander, and of course, losing Jack, and and everything that's happened with like the Devereaux and Abigail and all this kind of stuff. Like, I think just for a moment, she's just like, I just want a little bit of happy.
Yeah.
I just want some happiness. And Dimitri provided that. But, bellissimo, you're so beautiful. Oh my God, I want to marry you right now. Like,
She's not French.
Well, I mean, whatever. But who wouldn't want that? Like, I feel like if there was this fine man that we all met, that was, well, with the exception of Michael Maddox, because you're already married. But for us single gals, like, if there was this fine, like real, like whatever you have imagine in your head of who you will ultimately want to be with, was suddenly in your face telling you how beautiful you are, how good you look, and how they want to give it to you, and all this kind of stuff, I think you would be, in my own words, digmatized too. And if that man was like, let's get married, you'd be like, okay.
Yeah, I'm with you, Tony. I'm hoping that.
Araceli, don't try to act like you're like girls rule, men drool, and like, oh, Cinderella and her shoe can go
girls
stuff it.
rule, men drool.
What did I say?
Isn't that what he said?
No, you did.
Yeah, that is what I said.
I don't think I've heard that before.
Yeah, like, don't be
No,
all like,
I think
like girl power
for a second.
If somebody fine came up and swooped you up out of that house and was gonna give you a mansion and all this kind of stuff, told you how beautiful you are and that you can have all the wine that you wanted and stuff, you'd be like,
the wine you wanted. The Demir's
don't be sitting there acting like you ain't gonna be all about it, Araceli. Okay, I'll give you this. You'll put up a fight for an hour, and then you'll just be like,
No. Those who know me know that there are like very specific ways to my heart, and like money ain't one of them.
Well, maybe it ain't gotta be money. One of them. Maybe it's food. Maybe it's wine. Maybe it's a free vacation. Maybe it's to sit on the beach for 5 hours. And
literally, like the most obvious answer, you haven't said it.
What?
No, I'm not gonna say it, but it's like nothing you said. So.
Well, now you done brought it up. What is it?
No, it's just nothing you said. So it's like I don't need it out in the universe, but it's good to know that like Tony Moore got it all wrong.
But I'm not the one trying to court you.
Good, because you wouldn't last.
I wouldn't be in line anyway. The wrong branch, honey. I'm over here trying to get Jason Momoa.
You are listing your qualifications.
No, they're not mine. My qualifications are simple. A number 5 off the McDonald's menu, a barbecue sauce and a sweet tea can lure me to do any and everything. Don't take much.
Oh, God.
Anyway.
I hope the number 5 is a 10-piece. Pretty sure it is.
Anyways, it's nice to see EJ and Stefan on the same page. And that's all I got from this week from that.
Yeah, for how long though?
I know, yeah, those two.
I think it's obviously probably a temporary truce, but I think it'll hold so long as they have a common enemy and common goals.
Is this the first time there isn't no one? I mean, no one's after each other then in the Demiras. They all have their side plots and everything, but no one's after. Dimitri isn't after them. Stephanie is after everyone. Kristen is after them. Okay.
But they're thinking long terms when it comes to the Demira shares.
Yeah,
that certain people are on certain sides.
I'm saying this is the first time I think in the last X amount of months where there was a conflict within the family. Like it's with everyone else and not.
Yeah.
I'll take it.
Yeah. All right. Well, we'll see what Dimitri has up his sleeve coming up. But in the meantime, as we gear out, drive out, or move away from our top storylines and into our tidbits, we want to give you some quick reminders to make sure you, one, follow us on all social media platforms, two, subscribe to our YouTube channel, and while you're at it, tell a friend, and three, follow us on your favorite podcast station. Take us along on that long car ride or maybe that walk on the treadmill in the gym. And of course, buy our merch. If you have suggestions, never mind. And now on to our tidbits. All right, so let's get into our first tidbit, which is matchmaker, matchmaker, make me a match.
Make me a match. Whoops, I got the...
Find me a find, catch me a catch. What kind of gay are you, Michael Mattis, that you didn't know that those were the words? Okay. Bad gay. Bad. Okay. Before everything went to hell, were we feeling Melinda and Li together?
I wanted to, because I thought, when they first, ran into each other, I was like, oh, this could be interesting. But then I was like, it seems kind of forced, but maybe that was intentional because Melinda was, kind of trying to trap him a little bit. Now, where that came about in their evening, like when she made the decision to record him, I'm not sure we saw that moment.
No.
You know what I mean? We didn't see her we didn't, like, maybe she left the table and came back at one point, and that's probably when she did it.
He mentioned that. He said, when did you start recording me? When you left and went to the bathroom?
Mm-hmm.
That's what I was confused about, though. Was she saying, I meant to record you, but now I like you, so that's why I did? Because remember when he found it, she was like, I didn't mean it. I was confused. Was she saying, I was taping you to trap you, but I actually am now starting to like you, so I didn't mean it then? Or was she saying, I actually didn't record you, and that was just a mistake that the recorder was on? That's why I was a little confused about. Because immediately when he caught her, she immediately got defensive and like apologetic about it. So I didn't know if it was one or two what she was saying.
If she, I don't. Well, it just felt so weird and out of place to be like, it's not gonna go beyond this table. Did you do it, girl?
We was beating him at that point. And then when he found the tape, she like quickly changed and was like, no, it was a mistake. I didn't mean to. And I was like, okay, like. That's why that part of it confused me. I was like, wait, was she then taping him on purpose? Or I don't know. It was a little weird how it played out.
Mm-hmm. It was a little clunky how the whole thing played out.
Yeah.
I kind of wish they wouldn't have had her taping him, because I was kind of enjoying it. Like it did feel a little, like I said, it felt a little forced, but I was going with it. And then when the tape recorder came out, I was like, all right, well, this probably isn't going to go anywhere after this because.
Well,
so I mean, it was weird.
I'm sure it felt forced because they were put together by a matchmaker who had no idea of their history. But I think once the dust settled, it was kind of like, and they gave into it. I was like, okay, like maybe this could work. And then that happened, and I was like, well, damn.
Mm-hmm.
Honestly, for me, I didn't get much chemistry out of those two. I don't know what it was. And I like them with other people. Mm-hmm. I even actually like them. The funny thing is, if I were going to put Li with someone, it would probably be, I felt like he had good chemistry with Sloane. I don't know.
I just have a little bit of a...
Yeah. I don't know. I'm not feeling their chemistry with him and Melinda. And I hate to say this, but I was also kind of like, really? You, of course, have to put the two Asian people together. Okay, really? It kind of felt forced to me. Like, yeah.
I have a question for you all.
Mm-hmm.
who still writes notes?
Notes.
Because when Wendy read that note from Li, I was like, couldn't this have been a text?
Oh, wow.
Oh yeah.
I could go either way on that. I can't say I've written a note in a while.
Like I feel like if you want somebody to know something,
if Mark's not home and I'm leaving, I'll text him. I won't leave him a note.
Yeah.
right?
So yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
I was like, I wish it was kind of like, maybe because she had just got off the phone, and then maybe she went, doo-doo, and then the text popped up, and it was the note. Like the fact that she was like,
Yeah.
who writes a note, and who writes a note that long?
Yeah, I know, right?
Not the matchmaker is Rachel.
I can't.
But I don't know. I feel like she instantly like regretted what she was doing, and I think she was genuinely having a good time. I think Li was actually having a good time too, and was a little hopeful at some point of just being open to like getting to know her, because he's putting that trust in the matchmaker. But I don't know. Well, that went away because I mean, Justin, you said that they didn't have chemistry, but I felt like they had a little spark, because they definitely had like an understanding of each other, of like their positions and maybe misunderstandings that were like clarified and stuff like that. So I don't know. It was interesting.
I see that. I see the spark, but I also see what Justin's saying, and I think this can be described as I think all of the charisma at that table was coming from Melinda. Her opening herself up.
Yeah.
Her speaking of her dreams, her motivations, a time in her life where she allowed herself to be free. Like we didn't get any of that stuff from Li, unfortunately. He was a very good listener, and he was good to to bounce that information off of. But all of that charisma, all of that spark, I'm sorry, that was coming from her end of the table.
Yeah. That's so true. I was thinking about this too. I know you guys like Li, and I like him too, but I feel like there's still something. I feel like we still don't really know him that well.
Like he's not
still a mystery, and then all the stuff with Abby, part of that was a trick. Not a trick. He was real with her. He really loved her, but he was also shady. So I feel like we don't really know who he is at his core yet.
Right. For me, they've done a lot of flip-flopping of whether he wants to be like a bad guy or a good guy, and we're still not sure which one it is. You know what I mean? Funny. Like we don't know what his true nature is yet.
I feel like his nature is a bad guy. He's been a bad guy 95% of the time he's been on the show. The only time he was a good person was when he supposedly gave Gabby the divorce. And then 5 minutes later, he went back to being.
Well, but then everything before we knew he was the one helping brainwash Stefan or trying to get rid of Stefan. I mean,
that was early on.
That wasn't early on. He was on the show quite a while before that.
Yeah.
No, but he had Stefan the whole time. Remember?
Yeah, that was implied.
That for the past 4 years. That's what I'm saying. Like he essentially
has been take it that way for whatever reason. But
yeah. Well, because we didn't see it the whole time.
We didn't see it, but the whole thing was, he took Stefan.
I mean, back in the day, Li used to just come in as like, when there was a problem with Demera, and back then we were like, oh, we wish they would expand upon them, and then they did. But I just feel like, and I think maybe Michael Mattis had picked up on this like a long time ago, that like he's just not he's not believable as a villain.
Mm-hmm.
It's like like classic days. He was just doing stuff to keep the love of his life, but sometimes he just comes across as like and like just this big lug that like likes love, but
he wants to be a bad guy, but he's not good at it.
Yeah.
It's like, just be a good guy, honey. Just just do that. It's fine. Settling in with Trip and Wendy and Johnny and all of those people.
There was just with these guys, it was just talk, just conversation.
Yeah, I found it interesting though that Trip canceled the date because he was at the hospital, and I was like, didn't she just go through this with Johnny?
I know. Yeah, to me, it was more like a be careful what you wish for. Like you're getting the same.
There is, the factor, the Chanel factor is not present with Trip as it is with Johnny.
Yeah.
That was Wendy's issue, not that he was canceling. He was always canceling for Chanel.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Wendy picked Trip, and she explained this last week because Chanel, she thinks there's still lingering feelings for Chanel. With Trip, lingering feelings for someone else aren't a factor.
Mm-hmm.
So when he canceled on her, she was like, okay, I'm going to put on my mask, make some popcorn, and turn on some Dateline.
And she was settled in for the night. There was a part of me though that I think the Trip thing to do when he did have to cancel, I kept hoping that there would be a knock at the door and someone would be like, delivery for, Wendy Shin. And it was like dinner, to be like, I'm sorry I couldn't make it, but, here's dinner for you, instead of her saying, well, I'll find something to nook in the microwave.
Or she could have brought him dinner and ate dinner at the hospital with him. You know what I mean? The same.
Oh, so you wanna go eat hospitals around sick people and urine samples?
Sure. Anywhere else?
I knew you were that girl.
Oh my God, there are cafeterias. Y'all are dramatic.
Look. Duh, we're talking about a dramatic show.
Oh my God.
Of course we're going to be dramatic.
No, but I just, either one of those scenarios would have worked. But you know what? That is the dream. When you can be in a relationship and just be in your sweatpants and your face mask, and your man comes in and he still finds you cute. Yeah, that's the dream right there.
I wouldn't know.
Or at least he says he still finds you cute. Yeah. Doesn't mind that you.
Yes. Or in your sweatpants and your face mask.
Because let me tell you, I saw her in her face mask, sweatpants, and I was like, ooh, that looks like a fun night.
It does.
I was jealous.
And she had her feet on the table, and they were just like, you're settled in good when your feet start rocking.
Mm-hmm.
Like she was just having a good time. I was like, I like to be that settled in too. And then she tried to be like, oh my God, Trip, no. I'm like, girl, y'all been living together for how long? You mean to tell me you ain't walked through this house looking a mess?
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. When you're already living together, there's very little you can do to hide.
Right.
It was cute and all, but I'm going to need them to give them something to do. Not break them up, not introduce a third person, but give them something to do. Because they're together now. They already live together. Like, like another
they
story.
Just got together, so.
I mean, give it a moment, okay? They just
let it marinate.
Yeah, they just got rid of Johnny. Right. We were all happy about that, so let's just sit with it.
And how about that Johnny and Rafe conversation? I loved that.
I liked it because it reestablished their relationship, because they've always had a great relationship. I just like, it was like, oh, you want to compare? Well, this happened to me. This happened to me. I thought it was great.
Yeah, and it's like that. That's also like that really special relationship that like most people have with like aunts and uncles or step parents, where it's like you knew them as kids, but then you got a really cool, good relationship with them as adults that like you can still come to them to confide in them, but you're an adult now, so you're kind of a little more on equal footing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, those are special.
I did like Johnny telling Rafe about Nicole. I like when they reveal that characters don't know everything. Like sometimes we just assume, or they just they move along with the idea that everyone knows everything. So it's nice when a character.
Well, because most of the time people do know everything, like out of nowhere.
Yeah.
But I was also like,
to be like, wait, she's pregnant, and it's like, oh yeah, like how would he know? He's been busy, and
that's true.
Yeah.
When he said that, I was like, how do you not know?
In the same house, but I guess we'll put that aside.
Yeah.
Wait, what?
Doesn't he live in the Demir mansion?
Who?
Johnny.
No, how does Rafe wouldn't know that?
Oh, Rafe wouldn't know. My bad.
Yeah. So yeah.
All right. Well, let's move on to Bonnie's big mouth and Alex's big towel. First of all, there's no way in the world, I don't care how fine you are, that you're going to come over, use my shower, get into my robe, and then sit with us for dinner.
And eat my fucking food.
And eat food having not put on not now stitch of a drawers. The whole time I kept thinking, like, you are sitting there
Commando.
naked in a towel having dinner. Like, you didn't bring no drawers over with you. You were there in nothing but a towel, sir. And now you sitting on these people's couch naked eating a spring roll.
So
Go
this-
With your
home,
spring
Roger.
roll fully out.
Oh, what am I not?
Chad and Stephanie were a little too nice. I would have said, I would have been like, well, no, you can't come. I shower, bro. Ain't no hot water over here either.
I'd literally
burn.
be boiling. I'd literally be boiling water before I did that.
This is Alex messing with them now. This is him
Yes.
getting revenge on Chad. This is what this is about. Because he knows he has a little bit of an in with Stephanie. They're across the hall. Chad just took his job. This is him. This is his revenge against Chad. This is.
It doesn't even have to be about Stephanie. It could be about Maggie.
That's true. Yeah. But this is nowhere in Alex's history has he ever been that clueless or that silly. This is him making.
This is calculated. Yeah.
With their relationship. Yeah, absolutely.
Like if they were to gone it, I wish they Chad would have gone in as like, oh, let me try to fix your bathroom. Hot.
Yeah, right. I know, right?
Yes.
Hot water. Goodbye.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then maybe, you know what, along the lines with that, like if Chad was like, well, let me see if I can help you out. And then then we see him coming back into the apartment and being like, well, his hot water was fixed, you know.
Yeah.
And then maybe like a little bit later, Alex, hey guys, sorry to bother again. Like maybe like a moment of like he just keeps coming back for like something. That maybe eventually he stays for dinner or something like that by accident because he's just like talking. But I think the thing that was just weird was that you just took a shower and you ain't bring no clothes over, so you sitting there naked eating them folks spring rolls. Like I just, now listen.
No, that wasn't the weird part. That was 10 layers of inappropriate past the weird part.
Well, that too, but I mean, let's be honest. Alex, Robert Scott Wilson, we can come use my shower anytime. And I'll make sure I have some spring rolls and you can sit here and be comfortable.
Good for Tony. I don't share my Chinese food ever.
I don't share food, period. So
period.
I mean, I normally don't either, but
like you got to order your own Grubhub or Uber Eats or something if you're coming over.
Oh, I'd share with Alex. I mean, yeah.
Thank you,
good for you. Bless your
like
heart.
Michael and Araceli trying to act like, oh, we ain't gonna be sharing no food. Like if it was ding dong,
while we're at it,
huh?
I said, bring your own bottle too while we're at it.
Justin,
it's the polite thing to do.
Justin,
exactly.
I know, you know.
Yep.
Who would be behind that door that would debunk everything that Michael Madden
Yes.
just
Oh,
said.
yes, Michael Madden. You know it. He's already.
And you know it too. So don't be trying to sit here and act like I don't share food and bring your own. Because if it said ding dong,
yes, and
I'm confident that the
and if he showed up in those jeans,
I'm confident that the person y'all are. I'm confident that the person you're talking about was raised right. And
this is true.
They should bring their own.
And even if they didn't, you wouldn't care about that. And if they didn't, you'd be ordering them another helping or
Oh no, but I agree with Michael. That person was raised right. That person would bring appetizers and dessert.
So it would be a non-issue.
And if they didn't, you would kick them out, right? Is that what you're saying? Exactly. Yeah. Exactly.
It's the right thing to do.
You might make an exception. Is that what you was going to say, Michael Madden? Exactly.
I love the chat room's wondering who we're talking about.
Grown
folks put in the chat room who you guys think we're referring to.
Oh my god!
Do not start anything. I'm like, oh,
anyways,
Michael Madison is sweating bullets over there. Look at Look at that temple sweating.
Oh my god,
he got a little hot.
This is too much real world in this.
Oh my god, I'm gonna take mercy on Michael Madison. Alex is a brat. By the way, there are showers at gyms.
Yeah, I mean,
so this was so stupid.
He probably has. Wait, where's he working now? He's working for Demira, right?
They have showers
Alex?
that you can mirror. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Well, he didn't want to
We
go all the
know
way
they-
over there when he can go across the hall.
We know they have showers.
He can go
that
and
can mirror.
basically do this to Chad
Yeah.
the entire night.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah.
And we all know Bonnie
Thumbs
can't
down to
hold
Alex
water,
this
so
week.
we know
Dr.
that.
Rolf.
We know.
Oh my god.
We know that
Bonnie.
secret was going to come out eventually. That
Oh my god.
that
Like
Bonnie couldn't hold water.
she's
Wait, what?
literally like she's running out of Bonnie's literally running out of double entendres at word plays. That's literally how she's surviving right now when she's
Listen.
running out of words.
The thing is, Bonnie could just not say anything and just play it cool. But
I know.
every time it's like, it's not that I don't know anything about a baby. Why did you have? It's like, all you got to be like, hey, what's up, Xander? How you doing? Oh, yeah, no, everything's cool. Yeah, you good? All right. Well, I'm going to go check on whatever that housekeeper's name is. I'm going to go see what he's doing. Exit stage left. Like this whole, but she just gets so, well, tickle my panties. I'm just so flustered about keeping this secret. Oh my God. My stuff. It's like all you gotta do is just not say nothing. Yeah. But it's coming out. She done told Maggie. So
but I love that even with this, there's an explanation behind it that Bonnie's now compared to Bonnie of yesteryear, just can't tell
don't know how to hold water.
Just because she really has changed. She really has become a better person. Yeah. She's become too good a person. She physically can't hold her tongue.
She's become a bad liar. Yeah.
Part of me wishes they made that more apparent because that I think would make more sense. Because remember, they used to be rivals. So I think it would make more sense if it was like, you know what, me and Maggie have gotten really close. I really like her now. She's we're family now, so it's different, but I don't know.
I think that's obvious. I think that, that comes across just in her saying, that Maggie is Sarah's mother and she has a right to know. She respects Maggie, that their relationship. She respects Maggie. She respects their mother-daughter relationship. She does think that Maggie deserves to know that she has another grandchild on the way.
Yeah, but they're sort of framing it as like Bonnie can't keep a secret, which is not true. We know that's not true. It's more of what you're saying, that she doesn't want to lie to Maggie, which I feel like she should be saying that to Justin as opposed to like, I can't keep a secret. I can't hold water. It's like, no, you can keep a secret. You've kept many of them on the show over the last 20 years.
Let me tell you this. When she was acting like she was Adrian, she wasn't flustered.
This is true.
Yeah.
She was acting like Adrian.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, so there's that. Oh gosh.
Oh Lord.
Knocked up and single. How dainty. Except she's not single.
Here's the thing. I'm just gonna say this. I'm not Team Eric and Nicole. I'm gonna keep saying it. I'm not Team Eric and Nicole because I feel like they had their time. I feel like let them just leave this whole pregnancy. Now Salome talking about she pregnant. Like I can't.
See, Tony, this actually makes me this makes me think more that Nicole's baby is EJ's then, because I feel like they wouldn't give Eric 2 children at the same time. So I'm thinking
they might.
I totally think they would.
But I don't know. I feel like I don't know if I don't know if they're gonna give him 2 babies with 2 different women, and then I don't know.
Yes, they can. You know why? Because they did the same thing with EJ.
Who?
Remember? He knocked up Nicole. Her first pregnancy with him was her at the same time that Sammy got pregnant with Sydney.
Yeah, but I'm saying, as far as we know, one of those babies didn't survive. That's the point I'm saying. That's why I'm saying.
Yeah, and we don't know what's going to happen with these pregnancies, but it's 100% possible that Eric knocked them both up.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, what a mess. I don't think that Sloane actually thought she was going to be pregnant that fast. She clearly wasn't expecting Eric to run out of the apartment and get a pregnancy test.
Yeah.
Eric, I think, is one of those guys that just has, excellent swimmers, as they say. And just, got to be careful.
Yeah. Like
anyway, well, that was your week of days, Annie. That was your week of day. Oh, sorry. Did anyone else have anything else to say about the foolishness?
Mhm.
Right. And that was your week of days, everyone. And we're now going to go into our favorite part of our show, which are our segments. And we're going to start with mine, which is Tony's official 3 Snaps Award.
Oh, snap!
I am simply just going to call this ankle bracelet, but make it fashion. Honey, when Lani said, "Hey, they can track me. I have an ankle bracelet," and she extended that leg out to reveal that pump and that accessory, I said, "Yes, you better treat this like this is an America's Next Top Model photo shoot challenge, and you are showing ankle bracelet, but make it fashion." So for that, 2 people get my 3 Snaps Award. Not only does Sal Sowers, Lonnie Price, or Lottie Grant get my 3 snaps, but also the cameraman who excellently executed this reveal of a pump and ankle bracelet. You both get Tony's official 3 Snaps Award.
Oh, snap!
All right. And don't mind me in the reflection trying to take a picture of my TV.
I just seen that now. I was like, what is that glare on it? What
Me.
is going on?
That's me. That's me.
Oh, snap!
Oh, God. Too funny.
And now it's time for
Caption that.
All right, this week's Caption That Photo comes courtesy of Marlena and Kayla digging into all of Marlena's patient's business. Not sure, since they're both doctors, if that's breaking any HIPAA laws, but you know, the time jump not acknowledging the time jump I had an issue with, this I'll accept. Anyway, this week's caption goes to Emmett Ward. His name is Emmett Ward Beast on Instagram. Didn't get actual first name, Emmett Ward Beast on Instagram, with his caption, "Girl, they let Sheila go free on The Bold and the Beautiful today." They don't watch Body and Soul. They watch Bold and the Beautiful.
Watch Bold and the Beautiful. Girl, they done let Sheila go from The Bold and the Beautiful hand.
Girl.
That's about right.
I cannot. And that has been...
Sorry for the Bold and the Beautiful spoiler if you haven't watched that yet.
Oh, well.
There we go.
It's Sunday. Y'all should be caught up on your stories by Sunday.
This is true.
Well, listen, let me tell you who's not caught up. Mark J. Freeman, who has been texting us. I said, "Girl, what month are you in?" He was like, "I just finished May 5th. I said, "Girl,
What?
I can't even tell you what happened."
He is on a plane because he's a flight attendant now. He is in that jumpsuit, just texting away. Meanwhile, someone in the back is like ringing the bell, ding, ding, wanting like a gin and Diet Coke, and he is just like,
"Got to catch up on the stories."
Mark's still on the time jump. He's like, what happened?
He was like, "Oh my God, Marlena in these pumps." I said, "Girl, what episode is this, honey? What episode is this?" And then he was like, "Oh, it was her 5,000 episode." I was like, "Girl, I can't. I'm gonna go home and watch this week. How about that?"
Mm-hmm.
Shout out to Mark J. Freeman, y'all. All right, and now it's time for
Friendly Sky.
Yes.
Those were the days.
Okay, I'll take you back to July 18th, 1997, where we had this inverted team up of Kristen and Roman. And this was the first scenes of Josh Taylor actually coming back as Roman. And if you remember the storyline, this was when Kristen sort of went crazy and they were she was out of jail, somehow got a pardon or whatever, and was still trying to break up John and Marlena. And she knew the one person who could help them would be if she brought Roman Brady back from the dead, who was presumed dead. And this is the beginning of the Jungle Madness, where he was infected with the same thing that
yeah, they had to go searching for the flower in the jungle.
Yeah. And so this is Kristen is actually the one who found him, got him some medical attention, and brought him back to Salem for the sole purpose of basically kind of teaming up with her to break up John and Marlena. And like it or not, it actually worked for a while. And so, yeah, July 18th, 1997, where we got this quasi team up of Kristen and Roman.
And that was.
Those were the days.
And now it's time for.
It's a gift.
And this week's It's a Gift goes to Mr. Dishin with the line and the falling face of the week.
You know what?
What?
That's
not it.
That's not
Yeah, I know.
You forgot to put it in the thing.
I did forget to put it in the thing.
Oh, Lord
Hold,
have
please.
mercy.
Hold,
Lord,
please.
Lord, Lord.
Yeah.
Well,
Lord,
you know
Lord,
what?
Lord.
That's a video, so you know what else I forgot to put in.
What?
Oh my
Lord
gosh.
have mercy.
Howdy, neighbors.
Wow. Okay. Well, you work on one thing. I'll work
Yeah.
on the other.
No,
Good news.
it's not
Yeah.
your fault, Dylan. I was like, Dylan and I did our jobs.
I downloaded it.
You downloaded the. Oh, did you download the trailer?
No.
Oh,
Live
Oh, Lord.
show, folks. Yeah.
Yep, you can't. And of
I
course,
just-
I can't access my freaking Gmail on here.
oh boy. Okay, hold on.
Uh,
Araceli, tell us about your It's a Gift and why did you choose it?
So I chose this gift one because I thought that this week was very dialogue heavy and I liked a lot of the dialogue, but not a lot of gifts. You know how like there are some things that are gift worthy and some things that are meme worthy, and people often confuse the two. A meme is like you could put something over it and it can mean something different. The GIF is like it's meant to be self-explanatory. Like you see it, you get it, and that's it. Like it can have words, but it's like in 2 to 3 seconds you understand what it is.
What are we giving here?
We are giving
Oh my gosh.
the fallen face. We are giving the expression of just
Oh shit. Yeah.
immediate oh shit moments.
And that was
And there was dialogue there
who?
in the GIF, but
Mm-mm.
yeah, there.
Oh, brother. I'm almost there. Hang on.
It's a lot of.
What dialogue?
That was when he says, "You've got to be you've got to be kidding me."
Oh.
Okay, this is just kind of one big fail today.
Move on to news and gossip.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's just move on. It's okay.
Well, that was.
It's a gift.
And now it's time for.
News and gossip.
Yeah, to start off, we unfortunately want to start by giving condolences to the actor Nick Benedict actually passed away. If that name doesn't sound familiar, the character Will, he played one of Day's most notorious villains in playing Curtis Reed back in the 90s from 93 to 95 and just did an amazing job at it. I remember he was the villain that you love to hate and sort of was, in addition to horrible things he did to Kate and Billy and Austin, he was sort of a rival of Stefano's and actually sort of made Stefano look good back then, sort of made him look like the good bad guy and the interesting. Like Curtis Reed was sort of the horror of the show, and Nick Benedict just did an amazing job playing him. Some of you may also know him from he did stints on All My Children, YNR, and Santa Barbara. So just condolences to his family and friends on his passing this past week.
And then in happier news, we have a couple of days' birthdays. Miss Camilla Banis, our very own Gabby, had a birthday on July 22nd. I believe she turned 33. And Chriselle Staus, our very own Jordan Ridgway, on July 21st. She had a birthday. I love those desserts. Those look fabulous.
So good.
Those look really, really good. She turned 40 or 41. So happy birthday to them.
Yeah. That looks like the Polo Lounge. Is that there? Anyone else?
Mhm.
Looks like the.
I have no idea.
Yeah.
That's not yummy. Yeah.
Yeah.
Somewhere
Yes, next
bougie.
up we have tour dates for the Day Players band. They are continuing on with their tour. I think they finished up one of their last dates, and they or not one of their last dates, but one of their last for the summer for a bit. They're in Phoenix, Arizona, August 6th. Then they take a little bit of a break, and they're in Huntsville, Alabama, November 4th, and then in Nashville, Tennessee, November 5th. All tickets and information can go to thedayplayersband.com. So yeah, they're continuing on. It's a great show. A lot of people have been posting. A lot of fans, if you on Twitter or Instagram, they're posting about their experiences. Go and check them out. And we got to see them live. And yeah, if they're in a city near you, or in your city or in a city near you, go check them out. It's a fun show.
Yes. It's my understanding that as long as everything that they're promoting or doing shows does not have to do with the promotion of the shows that they are on, that actors can continue to work. So the Day Players can continue to go on tour. These promo, I believe the fan conventions or like the individual stuff that the actors are doing don't count as well because they're not doing any of the promotion of the show. It's more like self-promotion. It's just simple interactions. If they were going on and promoting the show, like obviously like Day of Days. Oh wow. So Day of Days may look very different this year. We will see when that time comes. But individual things like this, I believe, do not count under the strike rules.
Yeah, this is a concert, so this is them as musicians, not as actors. Yeah, this is a concert.
Yeah. And we went in oh god, when was it?
November.
Oh my god, was it that long ago? Yeah. Well, that we went and it had I was just gonna. It did not feel like that long ago. We went and we had a good time.
Yeah.
So please, if you're in the state, go and see them. Yeah.
Agree. What else is happening? What do you guys think will happen next week?
What do we think will
I'm
happen?
hoping we get a conclusion to this.
I hope they find Abe.
Yeah.
Like I'm thinking this is the point where they need to find Abe. Like we've gone through everything we can go through, and at this point, you know, they found Lani. Hopefully Lani will wake up and they'll find Abe. They'll tell them where Abe is. They can find him, and then we can move on from this. And then Abe can start to recuperate.
Yeah, I think a couple of things need to be wrapped up. I think again, we've talked about this so much that we're coming up the shows. For anybody asking, I've seen, not on this show, but I've seen on social media a lot of people asking when the shows when are the episodes that are gonna start airing for John Aniston's Goodbye. Those we're coming up on those fast in they said August. What end of August, I don't know, but we're coming up on it fast. So yeah, there's quite a few storylines around here that need to be wrapped up, including the Abe storyline, because that will be happening imminently. Yeah. And we have no idea on like beyond the casting that they did for John Paul Lavoisier as Philip. We have no idea who else is coming back.
Who would you guys want to see? Who do you think would be necessary to come back?
I would like to. I don't know if they would get it. I would like to see Patsy back as Kim, just because that was such a big part of the '80s and the Brady's and Victor sort of feuds. I think having her, I mean, they could do it without her, but I like to see her come back and give her eyes in a weird way. I mean, they're not exactly friends or anything, but yeah.
I know everybody wants Bo and Hope back. Everybody expects, everybody wants them back. Look, they could be, they could not. We have no idea, but I'm not gonna like pin my hopes.
I wouldn't hold my breath
on it. Yes, I'm not gonna pin my hopes and dreams on it. It would make sense for Sierra and Ben to come back.
True.
That's her grandfather. She would come back. Of
course, we'll get Sierra back.
I'm pretty sure
We're getting Ben back.
Yeah, I mean, I have no knowledge of this, but I think it would not make sense for her to not be there. You know who's like a little off the wall that I think should be brought back? Teresa.
Oh.
Because in addition to the really deep history with parents and Victor. She has her own history with Victor.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And they did end up burying the hatchet towards the end.
They're actually on good terms where he actually really respected her for her choices.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and she's not like they're not besties, but she like we've heard like over the years that she Tate has a relationship with Maggie and Victor,
Mm-hmm.
that she makes sure to keep that intact, and that she's a good mom and she's being very successful in California, which Victor, if nothing else, he does respect a good business person.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like that would be an interesting person to bring back and add layer to that. Also because we haven't seen her, and yet I still have more confidence that Teresa has been a better parent than Brady and Kristen.
Oh, I think that's the consensus. That was at least the consensus in the chat room that Rachel should go live with Teresa.
Please, she'd be around her brother. Teresa, as a former wild child, would have most definitely put up boundaries.
Yeah.
Zach is Sunny. I'd like to see come back.
Oh yeah, yes.
I'd like to see a grown-up Vic and Joe too. I think it'd be interesting, even if it was just Victor and Joe, the twins, Sunny's siblings.
Yeah, Adrian and Adrian and Justin's kids. Yeah, but Sunny definitely has to come back. So yeah, there are some people. Again, we have no prior knowledge, but if we're discussing who we think is going to come back in the next month, I'd put more money on those people than I would on Bo and Hope, to be honest.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah, it's just logistically, it's a lot. Yeah. So we'll see.
All right. Well, y'all have stalled long enough. We cannot get the promo for you, so we will do something different. Well, I will describe to you what is happening.
Oh God!
And here we go.
Oh wow!
So, Stefan and Gabby are in bed. They are preparing for the wedding. Everyone is very happy. And then all of a sudden, Dimitri says, "Oh, congratulations, you're getting married. And so am I." And Stefan's face is like, "Oh, are we having two weddings?" And as Gwen says, "Oh, he only has eyes for me," Dimitri gives Leo a good smack in the butt. Like, it was really good. And now the doctor is now saying that they need a DNA sample from EJ. And I think Eric is going to find out that Salome tried to trick him into not knowing about his kid. And Paulina just slapped the dog piss out of Whitley King. And that is what is coming up next week on Days.
Okay, well, hopefully that means they find Abe then.
Let's hope so.
If they have Whitley.
Huh?
Yes, the end.
The end?
And the end. No, and the end.
As they said on my favorite cartoon, Jim and the Holograms, this is only the beginning, only the beginning. And that was your week of Dishin Days here. Thank you guys so much for tuning in live. Live. What a live show. Live. Before we head out, though, Michael Mattis.
Yeah.
Tell the kind folks where they can find you on the social medias.
You can find me on Instagram and Twitter at MLMattis.
Justin Lee Hareld, where is the one social media platform you have chosen to make sure that people stay in touch with YOU?
Find me at Instagram at Justin Lee Hareld.
And Araceli, who reluctantly signed up for another social media platform, where are the two platforms that they can find you?
You can find me on Instagram and Twitter at Dia323 Araceli.
And you guys can find me on TikTok, YouTube, Threads, Twitter. Yeah, that's all. At Lounge with Tony. And you can find all of us on all of our social media platforms. Dishin Days Show on Facebook, Dishin Days on Twitter, Instagram, and Threads. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. We will be back next week for a full dish of next week's episodes of Peacock's exclusive #1 award-winning hit soap opera, Days of Our Lives. Until then, have a wonderful week. Stay safe, enjoy yourself, and have a good day.
Bye.